Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Finally, the man marked by flames has appeared, Scopper Gaban. And in today's video, I will reveal how Zoro will become even more powerful after his encounter with him. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, Chapter 1139 has added a new level of depth to what we can expect from Zoro's journey, especially if we consider that Scopper Gaban, the legendary left hand of the Pirate King, is being positioned as a possible challenge or mentor for the Straw Hat crew. The title Mountain Devourer alone says a lot about this man's reputation, and if we take into account the story from Oimo and Kashi, it becomes clear that Gaban is not just some forgotten side character from Roger's past. He is a living legend, someone who likely holds secrets and abilities that could directly impact Luffy's growth, and more specifically, Zoro's. Perhaps this is the missing piece for Zoro to finally reach a new level of strength. I think Zoro has long been set up to surpass the limits of his own capabilities, and if Gaban truly becomes part of his journey as a mentor, or even as an obstacle, Zoro must overcome. This could completely redefine the swordsman's path. The fact that Gaban is described as one of the two strongest members of Roger's crew means that he is likely on the same level as Rayleigh, and we know that Rayleigh, even in old age, still demonstrated absurd power when he faced Kizaru at the Sabaudi archipelago. So, imagining Gaban as a potential instructor or challenge for Zoro raises some very interesting questions. If we look at Zoro's training history, we see that he has always had extremely powerful mentors. He started with Kushiro, who taught him the foundations of the way of the sword, and introduced him to concepts of strength and discipline. Later, during the time skip, Zoro trained with Mihawk, who is considered the world's strongest swordsman. Now, if Gaban is introduced as someone who can teach something even Mihawk didn't, this could mean that Zoro still has a long way to go before reaching his true potential. This leads me to think, what exactly could Gaban teach Zoro that Mihawk hasn't? I believe the answer may lie in the concept of advanced haki. We know that Rayleigh taught Luffy about the 3 types of haki, and Luffy later refined his application through battles and experience. However, Zoro, despite demonstrating impressive skill with armament haki and even showing signs of possessing conqueror's haki, has not yet had a true instructor to take him to the next level. If Gaban is a master of armament haki on a level similar to Rayleigh's, he could teach Zoro an even more advanced form of this ability. Perhaps something that goes beyond simple hardening and involves a technique that fully harnesses the destructive power of his sword. Another possibility is that Gaban holds knowledge of a specific combat technique once used by Roger himself. We know that Roger was a swordsman, but we have never seen him use a devil fruit, which means his strength came exclusively from haki and his swordsmanship skills. If Gaban fought alongside Roger and was one of his strongest crew members, then he likely possesses knowledge about the former Pirate King's fighting style, and he could pass this on to Zoro. This raises another interesting question. Does Gaban use a fighting style based on dual weapons? If he wielded 2 axes, could he teach Zoro a different way of fighting, using a style that combines brute strength with precision? The fact that Gaban is called the Mountain Devourer also makes me think he might have an extremely destructive fighting style. When Oimo recounted how Gaban destroyed an entire forest while single-handedly fighting hundreds of pirates, it reminded me of how Zoro dealt with the assassins who tried to kill him in Wano. But there is a difference. Zoro has not yet shown a level of destruction so great that he could devastate an entire territory in battle. This leads me to imagine that perhaps Gaban possesses a special technique that further amplifies the destruction caused by his attacks, something Zoro could learn to maximize his own fighting style. And then comes the main question. Will Gaban actually become a mentor to Zoro, or will he be an obstacle that must be overcome? The end of chapter 1139 suggests that he is challenging Luffy, but that doesn't mean Zoro won't be involved. I think it's very possible that Gaban, while testing Luffy, will also recognize Zoro's potential and decide to test him in some way. Maybe it's a fight, or perhaps a challenge that involves more than just brute strength. But considering that Zoro has always had to face powerful figures to grow, I believe that a confrontation between him and Gaban would be one of the most epic battles we could see in One Piece's future. Another point that makes me believe in this theory is the way Oda constructs parallels between generations. Luffy has already trained with Rayleigh, Roger's right-hand man. If we consider that Gaban was Roger's left-hand man, then it would make sense for him to have a role similar to Rayleigh's, but this time for Zoro. This would create an interesting balance, showing that both Luffy and Zoro received direct teachings from those who stood beside the former Pirate King. And of course, we can't forget about the scar on Gaban's forehead. This detail may seem purely aesthetic, but I think it could have an important story behind it. Many characters in One Piece bear scars that represent significant moments in their journeys. And if Gaban has a scar on his forehead, it could mean that he has already faced a formidable enemy in the past. If Zoro actually fights him, perhaps Gaban will reveal this story, showing that his power comes from a long history of battles and experiences. If this theory proves true, and Gaban indeed becomes a new master for Zoro, then what can we expect from Zoro's future? Perhaps he will develop a new fighting style, awaken a new form of haki, or even uncover secrets about the sword he carries. I believe that no matter what happens, if Gaban truly is the next major influence in Zoro's evolution, it will be a massive milestone for One Piece's story and for the path of the future King of Swordsmen. Now, the lingering question is, will Gaban only test Luffy, or will he play a much bigger role in this new saga? If the answer is the latter, then this will be something incredible to witness. I think it's important to note how Gaban was introduced. The chapter begins by establishing Elbaf as a land of stories and legends, while also being a place of uncertainties. The search for Loki's key already carried an air of mystery, but the inclusion of a magic circle in the throne room suggests that something much greater is happening in the land of giants. Nami mentions that this type of symbol is used for rituals in some countries, including demon summoning. This combined with Yasan's statement that freeing Loki is something not even villains would wish for, could indicate that Loki has some connection to forces beyond normal comprehension, something that could be tied to the very secrets of the world. I think Gaban's introduction in this context is no coincidence. He appeared as a guardian of this key, as if he knew it could trigger something dangerous. If he really has been living in Elbaf for over 20 years, that means he might have a much more active role in the story than we imagined. Maybe he isolated himself there to protect something, or prevent certain information from falling into the wrong hands. The comparison Oimo makes between him, Roger, and Rayleigh is not exaggerated, and if he has this level of strength, it's possible that he is one of the few living characters who knows the true secrets about the One Piece and the Will of D. Another interesting detail is how Luffy and Zoro reacted to Gaban's presence. Luffy, as always, isn't impressed by status and simply ignores the conversation when it feels like it's dragging on. Zoro, on the other hand, shows some curiosity, directly asking who Gaban is. This already suggests that Zoro might be more interested in him, perhaps feeling a connection as a swordsman. We don't yet know if Gaban uses swords or just axes, but if he mastered advanced haki and was able to destroy an entire mountain alone, then his techniques might align with Zoro's style. And if Gaban really decides to test him, we might see Zoro facing someone above even the level of admirals. This leads me to think about possible training. If Luffy is about to fight Gaban to prove his worth and take the key, what would stop Zoro from being tested by this man too? I think Oda might be setting up something big for Zoro, something that involves more than just improving his sword techniques. Mihawk himself has already shown that haki is essential for high-level swordsmen, and if Gaban is a master in this field, he could be the key to taking Zoro to his true peak. But before I go deeper into that, there's another important point in the chapter, the party in the village. While Luffy and the others explore the castle, Oimo and Kashi are telling stories about Gaban to Usopp and the rest of the group. This not only reinforces how legendary he is, but also creates a direct connection between the past and the present. Whenever a character is introduced this way in One Piece, they end up having a significant impact on the plot. Additionally, the way the giants talk about Gaban gives the impression that he's a real monster in combat, which only strengthens the idea that his appearance won't just be a nostalgic detail, but a crucial event for the future of the story. At the end of the chapter, when Gaban challenges Luffy, it's clear that he won't just hand over the key, but his line, "So, would you be able to take this key?" makes me think this fight might be more of a test than a real battle. Gaban might want to see if Luffy is ready for what's to come, and if he really is one of the last secrets of the Roger Pirates, then his appearance could be directly tied to the conclusion of the One Piece story. I think this chapter has set a new level of expectation, not just for Luffy, but especially for Zoro, who may have found the master who will take him to his next level. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.